Let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, the hottest dudes in metal. And I'm not going to react to this because, I don't know, I don't want to talk about Bathory and Megadeth, but I did see this video by Bradley Hall ranking the hottest dudes in metal, and it made me think, you know, I should do something like this. I've been thinking about this for a while. So I'm not going to react to this, but I'm going to do my own version of it. I don't know if I want to rank them because that seems kind of mean. I don't want to do that. But I thought instead we could just talk about the hottest dudes in rock and metal. And maybe instead of ranking them, we could just talk about what makes them dreamy and talk about what we think our first date might be. You can throw some up in the chat and we'll see. But of course, we got to talk about Andy Biersack of Black Veil Brides, aka Andy Sykes. I mean, what's not to love about Andy? First of all, he gave us the iconic "here's the thing" moment, which, I mean, we all know that one, right? If you've watched my videos, you know that "here's the thing" was one of the best moments in history. So just right off the bat, that puts him at the top of the list of dreamy guys that I would like to date. But aside from that, I mean, just look at these chiseled features. How could you not fall in love with that face? A beautiful, beautiful man. I've always thought he looked a little bit like Ruby Rose, the one from Triple X or whatever movies she was in. Always thought he kind of looked like Ruby Rose, who was also a lovely human. Now, my question is, where would we go on our first date? You know, the thing about Andy that's interesting is he's a nerd. So I feel like he would maybe take you to like the Museum of Vintage Horror or something like that. Or maybe take you to like a midnight screening of like Night of the Living Dead or something like that. I feel like he's that type of guy. He's a little awkward. He's kind of nerdy. You know, it seems like he would be the cool, confident rock star, but I think he's a little bit more of a nerd than that. Maybe a comic book convention. That's what I think Andy would do. And then maybe on like the third date, he'd be like, excuse me, I don't mean to propose such an awkward preposition, because he uses a lot of big words like that. Pardon me for proposing such a preposterous and potentially absurd proposition, but I would beg for your allowance for me to administer a kiss upon your cheek, if you would so allow me. And be like, Andy, are you asking if you can give me a kiss on the cheek? Precisely, that is indeed what I am asking. I would say, Andy, you may kiss me on the cheek. It's the third date. I think it's time. Now, who else? Who else should we talk about? Oh yeah, Ollie Sykes. We got to talk about him. Ollie Sykes. No list of dreamy scene guys would be complete without Ollie Sykes. Now, for me personally, I'm more partial to the old school scene era Ollie look. You know, when he used to wear the Bulls jerseys all the time. I'm partial to that, I think. Here's more old school Ollie, back when he still had the Beatles shag hair. Old school drop dead there. One of the biggest heartthrobs of the scene era, for sure. Yes, this picture was indeed all over Tumblr. Yes, I remember that. And it's true, he was one of the first scene guys I remember who had chest and neck tattoos. So many girls loved that. Remember when it was like unusual to have chest and neck tattoos or like face tattoos? Remember that? Remember when that was unusual? Now just everyone has it. This is what, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, something like that, when he started, you know, toning things down a little bit more. And now we've got new school Ollie, where he's entered his Captain Jack Sparrow era. Even so, Ollie Sykes, such a devastatingly handsome man, that even the Jack Sparrow era of Ollie Sykes, with the weird rings and, you know, TikTok earrings and all that stuff, still devastatingly handsome. He can pull it off. Like, you ever see like Justin Bieber? Justin Bieber wears some weird shit sometimes. Like, Bieber just looks like a total fucking dirtbag sometimes, like this. Justin Bieber sometimes looks like a total fucking dirtbag crackhead, like this here, you know, like one arm out of his fucking shirt, or this. Here's a good one. Just looks the most preposterous outfit, but because it's Justin Bieber, he looks cool, you know? Like, if I wore this, you would laugh at me and you would say, who is this guy? Someone call 911, because he's clearly not in his right mind. Someone needs to get him some help. But when Justin Bieber dresses like this, he looks cool. Ollie Sykes is one of those people too. He can wear the weirdest shit and it looks cool on him, but the rest of us, mere mortals, we can't pull it off. And I think that's a testament to what a beautiful man he is. Now, what would our first date be? I feel like Ollie would take you to like a vegan restaurant, like that does deconstructed entrees or something. He seems like he's into kind of like fancy stuff like that. Take you one of those places that gives you like a plate that's this big with a little squirt of foam and like a sprig of some tree from the backyard and like, I don't know, 4 soybeans, and it's like $600. I feel like he's that type of guy, and it starts at like 10 p.m. And I'd say, Ollie, you seem like a great guy and we had a great conversation. I just feel like, maybe I just feel like we're going in different directions. You seem like a really cool guy and I would definitely like to keep in touch, but I feel like, I'm ready to settle down. I just want a simple life. I feel like, I'm just not ready to be with you right now. You need somebody a little bit more adventurous than me. So he seems like a cool guy, obviously devastatingly handsome, but I just think we want different things in life. And I don't know. I don't think it would work out between the two of us. So I'm sorry, Ollie. Next. I'm not interested. I'm sorry. Who's next? Tim Henson. Okay. I met Tim once and maybe he was like sitting down or something like that. I'm like 5'11", and I had it in my head that Tim was way shorter than me. And unfortunately, I was wrong. I think he's maybe a little bit shorter than me, but if he is, it's not by much. They say that God does not give with both hands. And so I said, okay, he's devastatingly handsome. He's super talented, but at least he's short. And then God was like, actually, he's kind of tall. It's like, oh, God damn it, you motherfucker. Yeah, God just threw it all at Tim Henson. I'm upset. When you read some article about a little kid, like a 4-year-old that got brain cancer out of the blue and now they can't walk anymore. And you're like, man, what's wrong with this world? There is no God. There is no justice in this world. That's how I feel when I look at Tim Henson. Furious, angry, disappointed. God was like, no, sorry. The best I can do, I can give you some shitty tattoos and a moderately popular YouTube channel. That's the best I can do. Get an Affliction shirt if you want. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll get the Affliction shirt. Now, where would Tim Henson take you on a first date? I feel like he would really want to impress you, because he's into fancy shit. He's got his like Gucci slides, like a 40-year-old Vietnamese MILF. He's got his Gucci slides, although he's not Vietnamese, he's Chinese. But I feel like he would, pull up in his like rented Lambo, I think. Yeah, and take you to a modern art museum. And then maybe, fancy KBBQ. I feel like, I agree with that. Yeah. I feel like that's Tim's vibe. He would pull up in the rented Lambo and he would take you to the modern art museum and then like one of those fancy KBBQ places, Sugarfish Sushi. Well, Morgoth would know. He would know. I feel like that would be his vibe. I feel like he wouldn't even like ask to kiss you. He would just like drop you off at your house and he'd be like, oh, you're not even, and he'd be like, all right, I'll see ya. And just like peel off in his Lambo. And he'd be like, oh, I thought we had a vibe. I thought he was going to try to kiss me. And oh, I'm just like standing in front of my house by myself. He didn't even wait to see if I got inside safely. What's wrong with this guy? Ugh. But then you'd be texting him the next day. You'd be like, hey, Tim, I just, I had a really good time last night. And, if you wanted to see each other again, I think that'd be really nice. And then he'd leave you on red for a fucking week. And then a week later, he'd be like, hey, what's up? What are you doing tonight? Be like, Tim, oh, you're driving me crazy. Stop playing hot and cold. What do you want out of this relationship? That's my vibe on Tim. That's what I think. But would I let him play games with my heart? Absolutely, I would. I would let him play games with my heart all day long. Okay, who else? Danny Warsnop? I mean, there's a lot of different versions of Danny Warsnop. You got your old school Danny Warsnop, the scene era Danny Warsnop here with the fringe, old school 2008 Danny. And then you've got the new school Danny Warsnop in his Black Rifle. I think that's a Black Rifle Coffee Club hat. The new school Danny Warsnop, where he went full like Red State butt rock. I feel like he needs to, Danny, if you want to borrow the shirt, you can borrow my Affliction shirt if you want one. So the question is, which version of Danny are we talking about? It could go either way. I feel like, Danny, he'll show you a good time. Very talented guy. Anyone that has scarves on their mic stand, I'm on board with that. The thing with Danny is, it might be fun, but, he's not looking for anything serious right now. He's not ready for that right now. So where would you go on your first date? I feel like I think he's got a rich friend down in Orange County, and he would take you to one of their backyard parties, and a bunch of like weird people would be at the party. Yeah, like Toby Keith might be there. I don't know, Kenny Chesney or something like that, and Jose Mangan from Sirius XM. It'd be like the weirdest mix of like butt rock and like country people and stuff at some party, in like South Orange County and like, Laguna or something like that. And to be like, this is weird. Who is your friend? Probably hang out with Alex Jones. Alex Jones could be there too. You don't know. And be like, who is this friend? What does he do? And be like, oh, he's produces adult film. And be like, oh, and then you call your friend and be like, yeah, Danny Warsnop invited me. I think it's a date. He took me to this party in Orange County at his friend's house. His friend is like a porn producer, and Toby Keith and Alex Jones and that guy from Sirius XM that does all the metal shows. It was weird. It was weird. And then he might call you next week. Be like, hey, I had a good time last week. Just thought I'd see, if you wanted to do something this weekend. Yeah, Eddie Trunk is definitely there. I think that'd be the vibe. And you'd be like, Danny, it's not my scene. You're a great guy, super talented. It's not my scene. I don't think this is going to work out. That's how I feel like things would go with me and Danny. But he was definitely one of the OG scene heartthrobs for sure. Look at this. What a cutie. The old school Danny Warsnop, just those smoldering eyes. He was a cutie. Devin Oliver. Okay. Yeah, Devin Oliver from IC Stars. You guys remember IC Stars? This fucking motherfucker, it makes me angry how attractive he is. Like, Devin Oliver in his fucking mugshot looks better than I ever will on my best day. Devin Oliver at his worst, hungover in a fucking mugshot from like 2011. It looks better than I ever will in my entire life. He does look like Tom Brady, kind of, doesn't he? I'm angry at how good look at this fucking, god damn it. Look at this motherfucker. Oh my god, just looks like an NFL quarterback prospect, or maybe or Sage Northcutt from the UFC. It's offensive. Again, it's proof that there is no God, right? Just horrifying. This is like movie star good looks. This guy is a 10 among 10s. That's right. We stood no chance against emo Tom Brady. The only thing I can say is his fingers are kind of skinny. He was cursed with skinny fingers. That's the best I can do. Like I said, God doesn't give with both hands. Okay, so he gave Devin Oliver a beautiful face and a beautiful voice, but his fingers are kind of skinny. I'll be like one of those guys on Reddit. It's like, oh, he's not all that. Look how skinny his fingers are. That's so weird. Yeah, put him next to Brad Pitt and he'll hold his own. It's true. It's true. Yeah, he looks fake. He does. He looks like CGI. This is like some image that an AI created. It's like perfectly tuned using a massive data set to be like biologically irresistible. Now, where would we go on our first date? I feel like the thing with him is that he's so fucking devastatingly good looking that I feel like he wouldn't have any game because he's never had to have any game, Like, all he needs to do is just exist, and 10s will throw themselves at him. So I feel like, yeah, I hear he's a nice guy. I feel like he just has no game. Not a bad guy, just doesn't have game. So he would do a lot of kind of inadvertently rude things. Like, he would take you to like somewhere crappy, like Olive Garden, and like he wouldn't pull your chair out for you. And he wouldn't offer to pour you a drink, wouldn't open the car door for you. He would order first instead of, waiting for you to order. But not because he's like rude. He just doesn't know. His words will sound like poetry no matter what he says. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. It wouldn't be his fault. It would not be his fault at all. Yeah, talks about his ex a lot. Exactly. Not his fault. It's just the same way as, like, you know how a lot of hot girls have no idea how kind of self-centered they come across. Because, you know, look at a girl like Ruby Rose. Not Ruby Rose with a Y, but this Ruby Rose. I believe this Ruby Rose may be the most attractive person to ever exist. This woman has never heard the truth, ever in her entire life. Everyone has laughed at every joke she's ever made. Every idea that she's ever had was amazing and great. Like, nobody will ever give Ruby Rose negative feedback on anything ever, and neither would I. She's never heard the truth in her whole life. And I feel like Devin Oliver's kind of the same, you know, the male version of that. And it's not his fault. You know, at this point in my life, I'm looking for more than a pretty face. I want a guy that'll treat me right. So I think I would say, Devin, you know, you seem like a great guy. And, you know, I had a good time. I just feel like, you know, maybe we're looking for different things right now. And I'm looking for something maybe a little bit more serious than what you're ready for. But, you know, let's definitely keep in touch. And then I would shake his hand. That's what I would do. I would say, you know, I don't think he's ready for this. Beautiful face, but maybe not relationship material just yet. It's not his fault. Nothing wrong with him. But would I let him pipe me before I broke up with him? Yes. Yes, I would. Absolutely. I would wait until after I got the D, and then I would cut him loose. That's what I would do. Yeah, Davey Havoc. That's a good one. Yeah, Davey Havoc. Great looking guy. The question is, though, like, which Davey are we getting here? Are we getting, like, my personal favorite era of Davey Havoc with the Karen hair and the, you know, the 2004 blue eyeshadow? Are we talking about that version of Davey Havoc? Or are we talking about the, I don't know, what you could call like a vegan thirst trap, like the punk rock Adam Levine version of Davey Havoc? Or are we talking about the Danzig era Davey Havoc when he got long hair and would wear the, you know, the lacy gloves here? Or the current era of Davey Havoc? He's got, I guess I would call this post-punk hair. Looks like maybe he could try out for D. Antwoord. It's hard to know who you're getting. We've got Coachella mom, Davey Havoc. Looks like he's just so glad. This is my first weekend away from my husband and the kids. Finally get a chance to have some fun. Or old school Davey Havoc, back from the skate punk days. Hardcore Davey Havoc. You don't know. But personally, I would go with this era of Davey Havoc. The Karen hair Davey Havoc. That's my favorite. And, you know, in this one, I feel like I'm going to pretend that this is Davey Havoc living out his Orange County Cougar dreams. So maybe he would pick you up. I think he would drive a Yukon or an Excursion, always by himself, because, you know, that's what the Orange County Cougars, that's how they roll. Driving the 8-seat SUV by themselves. I feel like he would take you out for drinks at the bar at Cheesecake Factory, and he'd be like, "Ugh, this is a little bit embarrassing. You know, I'm not a picky date. You know, you don't have to impress me with taking me to the coolest bar in town. You know, I'm not that type of guy. Taking me to the Cheesecake Factory bar, I'm like, oh God, really? Like, he wants to have a drink at the Cheesecake Factory and gets a flirtini, an apple flirtini. I'm like, oh God, this is rough. I feel like it would be so rough that halfway through, I'd be like, you know, I think I'm gonna fake an emergency here and just leave. I'm gonna say, Davey, I'm so sorry. My son just texted me and he said that he's feeling really sick. I asked him if he's okay and he said, I think so, but I'm sorry. I really should go be with him. And he's like, no, it's fine. Yeah, I totally get it. Like, just go be with your son. I'm like, but I'll take a rain check. I would definitely love to pick up where we left off. But just, I have to go be with my son. I'm so sorry about this. You know, we'll be in touch. Well, I'll make up for this. And then I would ghost him. My son has ligma. That's right. My son has ligma. I gotta go. He'd be like, oh no, I've heard a lot of people have ligma now. Yeah, you should go. And then I would just ghost him, leave him on red. And he'd be like, hey, you know, text you like a couple days later. Like, I I don't know, if I said the wrong thing or, I thought we had a nice vibe. And, if you'd like to get that rain check, I'd love to. And I would just leave him on red and be like, he's such a nice guy, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I would leave Davey Havoc on red. I would ghost him. I'm scared of telling people things they don't want to hear. That's all. But no offense, Davey. You're a lovely guy. It's just, maybe we're headed in different directions. He'd text 4 days later and say, how's your son? Yeah, be like, oh, he's fine. Why? And be like, oh shit, I told him he had ligma. Oh, he's getting over a bad case of ligma. But the doctor said I just need to give him fluid and give him some liquids and he'll be fine. Thank you so much for asking though. And then I would ghost him. So sorry, Davey, you got ghosted, but that's just the modern dating world. I know I'm never going to find a man. I just feel like, it's hopeless. I've been on so many dates. I tried so hard and I feel like I'm never going to find the right man. Maybe I need to stop dating all these musicians. Maybe I just need to go find myself a nice guy that listens to Theory of a Dead Man and is like military police for the army. Maybe that's what I need. I don't know. I'm just got to try something different. But there it is. Those are my thoughts on the hottest guys in metal. Join us next time for Volume 2. Perhaps in Volume 2, I'll find the man of my dreams.